So hey everyone, it's kinda rainy and yucky outside, so we didn't really want to do anything today. The boys are awake, but they're restless, so I'm gonna try putting them to sleep by reading them The Ugly Duckling with the help of my Echo Dot and Audible. Now this video is not sponsored, but I'm just gonna say I love Audible because it's convenient for me, because it's hard for me to pick up a physical book and read it, and it's way easier when you have 7 kids, because you can just tell a machine what to do and it does.
I think it's over. There should be a black one in there. Yeah.
Alexa, read my audiobook.
Getting your selection from Audible. Resuming Sleeping Beauty.
Alexa, read The Ugly Duckling from Audible.
Here's The Ugly Duckling by Big Bird on Amazon Music.
Here's a favorite story of birds
Alexa.
everywhere. It's called The
Alexa.
Ugly Duckling. It was springtime, and
Alexa.
nestled away in a...
Stop. I know we'd much rather hear Sesame Street, but we can't use that one, so Alexa, read The Ugly Duckling from Audible.
That's still good for tomorrow.
For tomorrow? Yeah, because we did check.
Alexa, read The Ugly Duckling from Audible. Alexa, read The Ugly Duckling from Audible.
The top result is Los Petitos Feos, The Ugly Ducklings, La Resiliencia. Una infancia infeliz no determina la vida. I'm sorry, something went wrong.
Alexa,
Please try.
read The Ugly Duckling from Audible.
Getting your selection from Audible. Resuming The Ugly Duckling.
Yep.
And this is Audible. The Ugly Duckling, read by Stephen Mangan. Down by the canal, in the beautiful countryside, amongst the bulrushes and the burdock leaves, a lonely duck sat upon her eggs. She had been sitting there for a long time with no visitors. The other ducks preferred to swim on the canal than to gossip with her. At last, her eggs began to hatch. The shells cracked, and the adorable little ducklings popped their heads out and chirped at their mother. Their bright, fluffy feathers were as yellow as the sun in the sky,
I'm
and their
just gonna
beaks were a
put
very pretty shade
my
of
iPad down because it's easier.
Quack, Mother Duck said as she fed each one of them. Then she noticed the largest of the eggs still had not hatched. Oh, how much longer do I have to sit here on this egg? Mother Duck grumbled. But she sat back down upon the egg and waited patiently for it to hatch. A few days later, Old Duck came to see why she had not brought her new ducklings to the canal for a swim. How are you and your little ducklings getting along? Old Duck asked. We're very well, Mother Duck replied. Why haven't we seen you all swimming on the canal? Old Duck inquired. Oh, I'm waiting for my last egg to hatch, Mother Duck said. It's taking forever. Mother Duck stood up so Old Duck could see the egg that had not hatched. Oh, that looks like a turkey's egg to me, Old Duck said. You should leave it and teach your little ones to swim. I think I'll wait until it's hatched, replied Mother Duck. We'll soon see if it's a turkey egg or not. Well, if it is, you'll have trouble teaching it to swim, I'll tell you for sure. Turkeys are afraid of the water,
Thank you.
Old Duck said as she waddled
Thank you,
off.
honey.
At long last, the large egg began to crack, and suddenly out popped a very strange-looking head. It didn't look anything like her other ducklings at all. The young bird that clambered out of the egg was covered in grey fluff, and it had a black beak. It was much bigger than the other ducklings and looked very awkward. "Oh dear, he might just be a turkey," Mother Duck remarked. "Well, we'll soon find out. You're going to go into the water even if I have to nudge you in myself." Mother Duck walked all of her ducklings down to the canal's edge. "Quack, quack," Mother Duck said, as each of her ducklings splashed happily into the water. To her surprise, even the largest grey one jumped in and glided gracefully along with the others. "Oh, so you are a duckling after all," Mother Duck said proudly. When they had finished their swim, Mother Duck took her brood to the farmyard to show Old Duck all her ducklings and to prove to her that the youngest was not a turkey. The ducklings waddled into the farmyard in single file. The largest grey one followed at the back of the line. Mother Duck lined them up, ready for inspection. The other ducks and hens cooed and clucked when they saw how adorable they were. But when they saw the last duckling in the line, they stopped.
Or you can take my
stared.
socks off and
Take it off?
Yeah.
Okay. So you
"Goodness,
wash.
what sort of a
Yeah.
duck is that?"
Wash.
yeah.
asked one of the hens. "It's a very strange-looking duck," said another. Old Duck came over to take a look. "You have a very fine brood," Old Duck said, "but that large grey one on the end is as ugly as can be." When the baby ducklings heard this, they turned and pecked at the strange-looking duckling. "Quack, quack! Stop! Leave him alone," Mother Duck said. "He may look a little different to you, but he's still your brother." "We don't like him," the other ducklings cried. "He isn't yellow and orange like us." "The other ducklings are all very pretty," Old Duck said. "Are you sure he's not a turkey?" "He's not as handsome as the others, it's true," said Mother Duck. "But he's good and kind, and he can swim as well, if not better, than the others. He's probably bigger because he spent longer in his shell. I'm sure when the other ducklings grow, they'll all look the same." Sadly, the other ducklings continued to tease and peck at their ugly duckling brother whenever Mother Duck was not looking. "Why do you pick on me?" the ugly duckling asked. "Because you're different," the other ducklings replied. Whenever they visited the farmyard, the older ducks and chickens ignored him and wouldn't play with him. One day, the farmer's daughter saw him. "You're so ugly," the girl said. The poor little duckling didn't know what to do. So he ran and ran as fast as his webbed feet would carry him until he came to a river.
Thing is all crinkled.
On the riverbank, he met
Okay.
2 young geese. They thought the duckling was ugly, but they were too kind to say anything and let him stay with them. The geese and the duckling spent 2 days paddling in the shallows. On the 3rd day, the wind blew through the bulrushes. As the geese and the ugly duckling made their way to the water's edge, a hunting party appeared on the opposite bank. The 2 geese splashed through the water and flew quickly up into the air.
That's good.
Suddenly,
Thank you.
a hunting dog came sniffing through the rushes to where the ugly duckling was hiding with its head under its wing. The dog sniffed
you.
at the ugly duckling and growled. Then he turned and ran along the riverbank, sniffing the ground as he went. The ugly duckling wept. "I am so ugly. And the dog won't come near me," he cried.
Let's go.
The ugly duckling waited until the shooting and barking had stopped, and he was sure the hunters had definitely gone before venturing out of the reeds. Then he ran as fast as his webbed feet would carry him, over the fields and meadows, until he reached a small run-down hut. The door of the hut had lost one of his hinges, so the ugly duckling was able to sneak inside and hide in a dark corner. In the hut lived an old woman and her tomcat, who she treated like a real child. The following morning, the tomcat found the ugly duckling lying in the far corner of the hut. He meowed until his mistress came to see what was wrong. When she saw the ugly duckling cowering in the corner, she was very pleased. "We will have duck eggs for breakfast," she told the tomcat. The ugly duckling knew he could not lay any eggs because he was a male, and only females can lay eggs. When the old woman realized this too, she chased the ugly duckling from her hut with a broom. "And don't come back!" she yelled at the ugly duckling. The ugly duckling ran as fast as his webbed feet would carry him, over hill and over dale, until he reached a large lake. He swam happily on the water, but if he saw any other birds or animals nearby, he would plunge beneath the surface so they could not see how ugly he was. One evening, just as the sun was setting, he saw a flock of large, beautiful white birds. The ugly duckling had never seen anything so wonderful before. Their feathers were brilliant white, and their elegant necks were long and slender. They spread their magnificent wings and flew high over the lake. The ugly duckling knew that they were swans, and wished he could go with them. But he knew he was too ugly to be seen with such glorious and graceful birds. As autumn turned into winter, at night the ugly duckling hid in the brushwood around the lake, sheltering from the wind and rain. During the day, he would swim round and round in the water of the lake to keep warm. But as the lake began to freeze over, the area he had to swim in became smaller and smaller. He had to paddle his legs faster and faster to stop the water freezing completely. After several days, he got very tired, and as he swam close to the shoreline, his legs began to freeze in the icy water until the ice was so thick he could no longer walk. A man was passing and saw the ugly duckling was stuck in the ice. He took off his shoe and smashed the ice, releasing the bird from the frozen lake. The ugly duckling was too tired to move. The man picked him up and took him home to his wife and children. The ugly duckling began to feel warmer in the man's arms. When the man showed his children, they wanted to play with the ugly duckling. The ugly duckling remembered how unkind the farmer's daughter had been to him, and was frightened that these children would behave in the same way. He jumped from the man's arms, and in his haste to escape, he knocked the milk pail over, spilling a week's worth of milk across the kitchen floor. The man's wife shrieked when the milk pail toppled. She chased the ugly duckling out of the house. "Get out, you ugly bird!" she shouted. The ugly duckling ran as fast as his webbed feet would carry him until he reached a large field. He hid under the large hedgerow that bordered the field. As he lay all alone, he watched the first winter snow fall from the grey sky. He stayed under the hedgerow all winter, with only the hay and the fallen leaves in the undergrowth to keep him warm. He felt as though he had hidden there forever, as if in a dream, until one day the sun began to shine warmly again, and the first larks started to sing in the trees above. He crept out from beneath the hedgerow and shook his wings. They felt stronger than they had done before, so he flapped them harder, and before he knew it, he was soaring high into the sky. He flew as fast as he could until he reached a beautiful garden full of apple trees, covered in pretty pink blossom. He landed near a large willow tree whose branches hung over a deep, majestic river. The ugly duckling waddled to the riverbank, and there on the water he saw 3 beautiful swans, just like the ones he'd seen on the large lake so long ago. One of the swans called out to him. "Come and swim with us," she said. "No," the ugly duckling said. "I'm too ugly to swim with you." The swan laughed. "Do you think I'm ugly too?" she said. "No, you're the most beautiful creature I've ever seen," said the ugly duckling. "Then you must be beautiful too," she said, "for you look just like me." The ugly duckling was confused. "Look at your reflection in the water," said the lovely female swan. The ugly duckling waddled to the river's edge and looked into the water. Staring back at him he saw a magnificent swan. "Is that really him?" he cried. He hopped into the water and glided on the surface, admiring his reflection all the while. "I'm a swan!" he called out to anyone who cared to listen. The ugly duckling no longer dived beneath the surface when he saw another bird or creature approaching. He held his head up high and proudly swam. It no longer mattered that he had been teased and chased from everywhere when he was an ugly duckling, because he had grown into a magnificent swan, admired by all who saw him. He and the other swans lived happily ever after on the deep, majestic river.
Alexis,
Audible.
stop. Okay, so that's the end of the ugly duckling. They are all sleeping, thankfully. And, I always like that book because it has a good moral to the story. Please let me know if you like this story. I know it's a longer video than usual, but like I said, it was raining, so we really didn't want to do anything else, and we wanted to show you guys some of our favorite stories. So, as always, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite little kid story is, or nursery rhyme, and sometimes I even act nursery rhymes out, so if you would like me to do that, let me know in the comments down below which ones you want me to act out, and I will try my best. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not the best at it because I don't have every fairy tale or nursery rhyme memorized, but like I said, I'll do my best. Okay guys, I'm gonna go chill before all 7 of these reborns wake up again. So thank you for watching. Peace guys.